Welcome to IGN Live from Gamescom. I'm Damon Hatfield. I'm here with Ash, who is game director on Assassin's Creed Origins. Ash, welcome to the IGN stage.
Thank
here
you.
at Gamescom 2017, kicking the show off. We got a nice, really long look at Assassin's Creed Origins back at E3.
Yep.
You're going to give us a little bit of a different look at the game today, is that right?
Yeah, we're here for Gamescom. We have a new area of the world that we're unveiling. We're talking a lot more about the characters of this historical time period, like Cleopatra and Caesar. Here we're showing off the great city of Memphis.
Yeah, so maybe a lot of people don't realize Memphis is an ancient, very old city.
Very
in
old
Egypt,
city.
Right?
Yeah,
One of the oldest cities.
Even when we get to it in our time period
Yeah.
here, it's already 3,000 years old.
It's
so
amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible. So it's rich with religious history, with art and culture, and we wanted to represent that and have players go through that because it's quite cool. Here we see this is a deity called the Apis bull. So Egyptians at this time period inside Memphis believed in this bull as a god, a living bull. And so they would decorate it. They would have the Apis bull festival. And so this is a quest that we're seeing right here where eventually as a player you get to experience all these kind of really religious rituals and really wonderful stuff from Egypt.
All right, so what are we doing in this mission here?
So in this quest, we get to it. So this is one of the main quests. You're hunting after a target named the Lizard, and right now what we saw was that the Apis bull was sick, and there's a belief that the Lizard somehow is involved in getting this bull sick. Now the bull is a deity for the Memphis inhabitants, so it's very important that Bayek gets involved. He's a Magi, which means that he's kind of a protector of the Egyptian way of life. So he's there to help the people, and this is going to lead him eventually to his target, the Lizard.
Yeah, it's like the Magi were real, right?
Yeah.
That's historically accurate.
Yeah, that's historically accurate. So they were a line of warriors who protected pharaohs, worked for the pharaohs. They were sort of almost like a secret service. And the idea is here we're at the end of that line. When the Greeks came in with Alexander the Great, they kind of started moving away from that, replacing those people, and Bayek being one of the few left.
We're doing a little crocodile hunting.
Yeah,
over there.
Random crocs in the streets. So here we're in a fort location. We're kind of jumping through a bunch of different locations right now, but here to show this is a military location. There's a guy that you have to save eventually. This is another side quest that if you're going through Memphis, you might run into this little child that's running away.
Yeah, we're sort of jumping around this mission here, but we're definitely getting a sense of the mobility that we have to maneuver around these cities.
Exactly. Memphis being one of the cities that we felt showcases the navigation in a very fluid, organic environment, where in Alexandria it's maybe a bit more organized. Alexandria is a cosmopolitan. It was more Greek influenced. Memphis being much more ancient Egyptian, organic, tighter, much busier. Here we're running into some thugs in the streets who are using kids to steal and do some of their bidding. So of course Bayek jumping in, helping out.
So we're seeing some combat here. This is probably a good opportunity to explain a little bit about this new combat system.
Yeah, so the new combat, that was one of the things, one of our big intentions when we started this project. So we started this project right after Black Flag, it was 4 years ago, and we had this intention to reinvent the experience of Assassin's Creed, and combat being one of those elements. So we've been pushing very hard to bring in a lot more gameplay, a lot more depth, have value in the gear and equipment that you find in the world. Bring in the RPG element, make sure that it works with bows. Here we see the bow. Making sure that melee combat into the bow works really well and vice versa.
Yeah.
That you have value of switching.
It's one of the great truths of gaming that RPG elements will improve just about anything. If you add RPG elements, it's going to be a bonus.
Absolutely. No, we've been excited to take this route with Assassin's Creed. We've been kind of slowly doing it for a while. The naval combat of Black Flag was at the in the heart of it, an RPG system underneath the hood. And for this game, we just wanted to blow it up and actually make it a proper element of the game.
So you have a large weapon system, right? A wide variety of weapons, so players are going to be able to choose the weapon style that they feel fits them.
Exactly. We have a ton of weapons. So there's 8 categories of weapons, but even within them, you have a lot of rarities, attributes, stats that kind of modify and tweak the behaviors. So for example, we're seeing a spear, but a spear that does bleeding damage, is slightly different than a spear that might be poison tipped. So the way you use it, the way you think about it might slightly change, and this is what we wanted to see across the game. Here, this is an ability that Bayek has to be able to kind of, let's say, meditate and allow time to move forward. This is a way to decide, I want to infiltrate at night. because it gives me some advantages. You know, the guards sleep at night, stuff like that.
So you have a day-night cycle.
Full day-night cycle, and even you know, as we saw there, the players are able to manipulate it even for their own needs. We have an AI system that gives the AI in the world, all NPCs in the world have schedules, agendas, and so on, needs. And the idea is that it plays off of the day-night cycle. So sometimes people need to sleep. Sometimes, you know, bandits are hunting out at night. So the player gets to manage that by moving time forward.
I don't know if you've noticed this, but this game is gorgeous. This game is so pretty.
Yeah, thank you. We have, you know, world-class, amazing, talented artists, technical artists, programmers that bring this world to life. And you know, it's thrilling to be able to make an open-world game and not worry about it looking beautiful. That's you know, one thing off our back. We don't have to worry about that. We can concentrate on the gameplay. The team is super talented, and we're really proud with what they've been able to achieve. It's
also a very cool setting. There aren't too many video games set in Egypt. There are a lot of games that will touch it. They'll you'll visit there in one. You'll visit Egypt in one level. But not too many games that are set entirely there.
No, and you know, even a lot of mainstream media, we wanted to make a game where people felt, or an experience, I should say, that people felt like, wow, this was somehow like a very authentic Egyptian experience. That it was something that somehow balanced being credible, but also mystical somehow. And no, that was an exciting opportunity for us. We felt that it didn't really exist. So tombs here, we're looking at a tomb.
Yeah.
You know, tombs and temples were very important, and we wanted to be able to explore these environments, have value for them, and even gives us an opportunity, you know, to do gameplay where it's more structured. You know, it's not the wild open world. It's, you know, there's puzzles, there's navigation, there's hidden knowledge under these places. So it's really cool to be able to take advantage of that.
What are we? I know we're investigating this pyramid temple here.
Yeah.
Have we found something down here?
What do we do?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of the tombs and temples, they have there's a lot of stuff to find. We wanted that exploration and discovering something really has meaning for the player, whether it's in a tomb or underwater, such as this. And so you always are finding narrative value, gameplay rewards, stuff like that. In a tomb, that's one place where you can find, let's say, ancient knowledge that gives you an ability point. So the idea is Bayek is learning something that helps him improve himself, if you will.
Sure.
There are other things to find inside tombs and temples, but we'll leave that to not spoil anything. There's some nice surprises for people. So here you can see the draw distances are stunning.
Yeah.
Climbing really a pyramid, you can pretty much climb every pyramid. Every point you can see in the world, you can get up there or slide down the pyramid if you want.
How many pyramids are in the game?
Boy.
Is there a number?
Oh, man.
We've put 333 pyramids in the game.
For sure, all of the pyramids that are in the Giza plateau. I don't know how many. Oh my god! The team's gonna kill me.
You have to check with the team. So our new protagonist, Bayek, is that his name?
Yes.
What can you tell us about him?
So Bayek is quickly his background is he's a native of Siwa. Here we're seeing a scene actually with Bayek and Cleopatra. That woman in the center is a new character that we're introducing here at Gamescom. Her name is Aya. She is from Alexandria, but at a very young age moved to Siwa, and her and Bayek grew up together, trained together. She's not a Magi herself, but she believes in the training and their philosophies, and they get married. And the idea is, So we start the game. They're already married. They're husband and wife in an Egyptian style. But the idea is that something has happened in their village of Siwa, and it propels them on this journey to try to figure out why did this have to happen? Who are the people behind this tragedy that we won't really say what it is? But we wanted to show how a husband and wife that have the same goal but have a slightly different look at the world, how they can come together, solve their issues, and eventually this coupling, this marriage, gives birth to the brotherhood that we know from AC1. So that's kind of the idea. So Aya is a new character we're introducing. We're super excited about her. Here we just got to see a little glimpse of her.
This is to be continued. Thank you for playing The Lizard's Mask. So this is where the demo would have ended, but we're going to see a little more here, is it?
Yeah, exactly. So what we have here at Gamescom is really showing like a bit of a main quest, some side quest stuff for the open world activities of Memphis. We didn't want to spoil too much, so we stopped the quest there, because at this point you start going after your target, the lizard, and figuring out who he is really and his role in the world.
I see.
So we didn't want to spoil that. But of course the whole world, the Memphis world part is open right now, and so people are just, they can run through, get some abilities, find some equipment, meet some of the inhabitants of Memphis and so on.
We're taking a look at some of the equipment menus here, weapons menus and armor and stuff.
Yeah.
Can you speak to that? Everything has a number on it. I assume that's the level.
Yeah. So the whole gear system, the abilities, everything. It's a very deeply driven RPG mechanic. So the equipment, you have your shields, you have all your melee weapons, you have 2 bows that you can slot in, you have your tools, your mount. And mounts, they range from horses, camels, chariots. There's many other vehicles in the world. So we've given quite a few ways for players to kind of find the playstyle they prefer. In the ability menu, you can craft or you can create the kind of character you want is our ideal. Whether you're a warrior style or a stealthy ninja assassin if you want, or a ranger. We have now shooting mechanics is very important to the game. The idea is you can create whatever kind of class of character you want, or even a hybrid class if you wish. And that goes through abilities and gear and so on.
So we're running around town here.
Yeah.
Do we have an objective, or are we just enjoying the sights?
So I think right now we're just looking at one of the big temples. So this is the Temple of Ptah, one of the biggest temples in the world, actually. It's a beautiful place. So we've done a lot of research to bring this place to life. Effectively here, the quest just ended. So this is the Gamescom specific build. So the quest ends here. What the person is searching for right now is what we call a papyrus. These are puzzles that have been kind of left in the world, or documents that have been left by someone that allow you to access some great stuff. I don't want to ruin what it is. Some surprises in there.
Sure.
I think here we're just kind of trying to climb a wall.
We're doing our best. What role does Cleopatra play in the game, in the story?
So that's another big thing right now is in the context of the game, we're in 49 BCE. And this is a wonderful time period because Egypt already has a lot of mystery and value at this point of ancient Egypt. But it's at the moment of its demise. The line of pharaohs is about to end. So Cleopatra being the last pharaoh of Egypt. Here we're at a point where she's the exiled queen. So when her father died, Ptolemy 12, he gave the pharaohdom to her and her brother, Ptolemy 13. And they had a civil war. So Ptolemy 13 ended up pushing her out. He was a boy king, he was manipulated, and he pushed her out of the country. She ends up kind of trying to build a mercenary army and coming back to take her throne. And she does that with the help of Caesar. So Julius Caesar famously is coming to Egypt. He's chasing after a Roman named Pompey. Pompey coming to Egypt.
Yeah.
He gets killed. Caesar allies with Cleopatra and helps her ascend the throne. So it's a really wonderful, intense time period where a lot of stuff happened, and this is the journey, the context that we propose to our players.
Yeah, I know the broad strokes of all that from the HBO show Rome. That's what I
Excellent.
learned. Just the broad strokes of all that. Yeah, so you're telling a fictional story, but you're also like including all the threads of what really happened.
Of course, this is one of the hallmarks of AC. I mean, it's important for us to meet these wonderful historic characters or people, actual people in these historic events. So the meeting of Caesar and Cleopatra is a famous moment where she's kind of like brought into his presence, and they have a meeting overnight, and that's famously how they get together. 9 months later, they have a child named Caesarion. But it's one of our hallmarks to interweave our narrative within true history. Of course, we are making fiction, obviously. But it's a lot of fun to be able to propose how does a character like Bayek end up meeting these people and what are their interactions together. So it's fun.
So we're exploring another pyramid. We've seen some horseback riding, and we've seen some hunting with some crocodiles. There's also predator companions. Is that correct?
In a sense, yes. It's one of the abilities you have in the game. So there's a ton of fauna, a ton of animals in the world. We put a lot of effort to really bringing Egypt to life. And one of the abilities that you can purchase to have is to be able to tame animals. So whether it's a hippo, a croc, a lion, a hyena, you can tame these, and they'll follow you. They'll come with you. They'll help you fight, and it's one of the ways to kind of, let's say, manipulate the environment to get your objective done.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like you're adding a lot to Assassin's Creed. You're bringing a lot of new ideas to Assassin's Creed. Is there one particular element that you're like the most excited about or the most proud of?
I would say, one thing for AC, we've always tried to push the combat system because combat is important for us. It's as important as stealth. Right now, especially in this campaign, we've been talking a lot about combat, but I would tell people that we're pushing stealth just as much. The thing is, the combat system, it's always very tricky. You want to get something that has a lot of depth, but also, a mainstream audience could enjoy it. And I think we found that balance where it's a beautiful feature to play with. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of variety, lots of enemies, and it gave us the opportunity to do a lot of boss fights. So we have finally AC has a lot of boss fights and super unique, epic boss fights. So it's, I love the combat system. I'm super proud of the team for what they've achieved with this. And I'm thrilled for people to be able to try it and see how far they can push the system.
Is this a puzzle we're trying to work through here?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
An environmental puzzle? Exactly.
So this is part of the fun of some of the tombs is exploring the tombs. So sometimes it's a navigation puzzle. Sometimes, in this case, it's a proper environment puzzle. Other times you might have some surprise enemies to deal with. So we've used tombs and temples to try to provide like a more defined gameplay because the environment, it's much more constrained. The cool thing is to represent Egypt authentically, for everything that is known in actual tombs and temples, we've recreated it to its fullest capacity. So the inside of the Great Pyramid, Khufu's pyramid, it's really the actual corridors, chambers. Of course, we've added in our own chambers that haven't been found yet, with our own lore. But yeah, we've tried to really be authentic on that level and to propose gameplay that would make sense for that environment.
Sure. And have you tried to do that with locations like Memphis as well, to sort of like recreate?
Oh, for sure. Alexandria, Memphis, all our cities. Heliopolis, Crocodilopolis, all these cities, we've really tried to recreate them as authentically as we do. But this has always been, again, a hallmark of AC.
Sure. You've probably turned off a lot of elements of the HUD for this demo. Is there still a mini-map option to bring up to?
Actually, what we're seeing right now is there's nothing that's been turned off.
Really?
The HUD is there.
Is it?
When you're inside a tomb, the idea is. We have a lot of different HUD options. You can have the HUD always on. You can have it completely off, or you can have it more dynamic as it is right now. So we've decided actively to remove the minimap. What we found was, we do a lot of eye tracking, a lot of testing, and what we found was we build these really stunning, beautiful worlds, beautiful characters, and people's eyes are stuck in a little corner.
Just watch the map? That's interesting.
And it became, honestly, I think it became a crux for us to drop feedback for players. And so early on, we said, we want people to be immersed in the world. So we challenged ourselves by removing the minimap to say, can we find other ways to give players the feedback they need to play the game? The idea is not to take away feedback, but to give them the feedback, but more ingrained in the world, more stronger language in the environment to help them understand what they need to do and where they need to go.
Sure.
So yeah, we've removed the minimap.
Wow, that's really interesting.
We have a compass, but we wanted people to be really focused on the game world and reading the environment to understand what they need to do.
Wow, that's a bold decision, I would say.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of, it seems like there's actually a lot of bold decisions going into this game.
Yeah, we challenged ourselves. We needed to modernize the series. We needed to bring something fresh and new. So we took a lot of bold decisions, and I hope people are going to be happy with it. I hope the fans who've stuck with us for a long time are also excited to see this new stuff. Yeah,
I know I'm excited. Assassin's Creed Origins is out October 27th. Can't wait to play it. Ash, thank you so much for coming by the show. But don't go anywhere. Real quick, the IGN First team got a behind-the-scenes look at Assassin's Creed Origins. Let's take a look.